Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Dr. Umair Bubakar Siddiq, and today we're going to have a long cases preparatory session. So remember one thing, uh, time management is the key to success in both short cases and long cases. So I'll tell you about how to manage time and how to divide your time, how much time is required to take the history and do the general physical examination, and then subsequently the specific examination of that region, and followed by the how to compile your data and how to present your data, and followed by how to guide the Viva in your favor. So beginning long case overview, for those of you who are giving the examination for the first time, you'll have one long case, and total time duration is 1 hour, in which 30 minutes is for history and examination and compilation of your findings. They'll give you a rough page and a pencil, so that you can write important positive findings on that page. So I'll tell you what to write on that page, so that during the history taking and examination, you don't miss any important finding. And the next 30 minutes are for the Viva session. And the examiner is going to ask you various questions regarding your history and examination, diagnosis, and further investigations required and treatment. So one examiner will see your history and examination, and one examiner will take your Viva. It is important to note over here that contrary to the short cases, in long cases, you are not required to speak during your history and examination. You are not required to narrate your findings at that time. All the findings of history and examination are asked during the Viva session. So you just have to keep quiet and talk to the patient, and take history and examination, do the required examination. If you have any queries, you can write in the chat section and I'll answer that. So moving further, so history taking. So if you want to pass, complete your history in less than 9 minutes, preferably in between 8 to 9 minutes. That is the maximum time that is to be given for history taking. If that time exceeds, then your examination is going to suffer and you won't be able to complete your examination. So and the key to success, or key to taking history in under 9 minutes, is by repetition. You have to repeat all the questions and do a lot of training, so that you are able to complete your history taking in less than 9 minutes. When taking history, always remember not to be distracted by the patient. The patient is going to tell a story. You're not interested in that story. You're interested about the features of the pain, the swelling, and the features of the deformity specifically. And you're not, the patient is going to tell, I got injured on this date, then I got operated from this hospital on this date, then I had multiple surgeries. That is a whole story. That is not to be that is a distraction actually. You're not going to be distracted by that. So be very clear about it. Don't get distracted. A lot of people get distracted. And secondly, one important thing is there is a language barrier in some provinces. Sometimes there is a language barrier, and other times there is a female patient. So most of you are not confident enough, or you don't understand what the patient is saying. So if this is the scenario, always repeatedly tell the examiner that I am facing these uh, problems, and kindly address these problems. I need a female chaperone, or I need a translator. I will not be able to complete the history in the required time. The examiner should know that there is a problem. Sometimes you don't tell the examiner and you just become shy, and you don't express yourself. Don't do that. Always tell the examiner that I am, even during your history taking and during the examination, if you find any problem, just tell the examiner, I want to do this test, but it is not possible due to pain or something else. Never take it for granted that the examiner will know that you have done the test or not. So moving forwards, never move forward if you don't have a diagnosis by the time you reach end of history of presenting illness. You should have a diagnosis or at least one or two differential diagnoses in your mind that are confirmed. Then you have to move forward. Otherwise, keep on asking more questions so that you might be able to reach a diagnosis. Most of you, because there is time constraint, so you get panicked and you lose confidence, and you need to complete your history in under 9 minutes, so you just keep on asking further questions rather than uh, compiling these questions in your brain so that you are able to reach a diagnosis. So you have to do both the things simultaneously. You have to complete the history in under 9 minutes, and you have to reach a confirmatory diagnosis at the end of your history of presenting illness before moving to the family history or the past history. So these are the mnemonics. You can memorize these mnemonics. Actually, these are I compiled them. These are the history taking format. The rough paper that you will be given in the exam, write these mnemonics on that page so that you don't miss any history. I'll in a minute just tell you each and every mnemonic and what to ask in these uh, history paragraphs. So first is NaSOMa, second is tetra P, then is FDA, then SES. And when you are examining, you are taking history from a child. Um, Obviously, you will not take the history from the child, but from the child's parents. So if the child is under 18 years age, always ask the examiner that I require a parent as or some guardian from that. From the child. And the birth, immunization, and development (BID) is basically the specific birth history, immunization history, and development history. And for females, again, 3 Ps. So moving forwards, what is NASOMA? NASOMA is name, age, sex, occupation, marital status, and address. So when you are given a piece of paper, just write NASOMA, and then in front of that, write all these. What is the name, age, sex, marital status, and address. So specifically talking about the address, always write complete address. Some candidates have failed when they have not taken a complete address. Uh, so always write the house number starting from house and then street and then city. Um, Moving forwards, so presenting complaint, write in chronological order. You all know about that. History of presenting illness. Then I'll further tell you what to ask specifically in history of presenting illness in the further slides. Here, just the 4 Ps: the presenting complaint, presenting illness, past medical and surgical history, and personal history. So 4 Ps depict the first P is for the presenting complaint, second is presenting illness, third is past medical and past surgical history, and fourth is the personal history. Then FDA stands for family history, drug history, and allergies history. So you have to write all the mnemonics starting from NASOMA, 4 Ps, FDA, and then SES is socio-economic history, expectations, and systematic review. For a child, ask about birth history, immunization history, and developmental milestones history from the parents or the guardian, whichever is present. For females, ask about the pills, pregnancy, and periods history. Moving on to the history of presenting illness. So again, there are 3 presenting illnesses in orthopedics. One is pain, other is swelling, and the third one is deformity. These are the 3 major presenting illnesses. So I have made mnemonics for all the 3. It's easier to memorize the mnemonics, and you are less likely to miss any finding if you have a mnemonic written on a rough page. So it's for the pain, you have sosiframino. All of you know that is site, onset, character, intensity, frequency, radiation. Then the aggravating factors relieving factors, aggravating factors, then morning stiffness, night pains, and others. In others, you ask about weight loss, fever, swelling, and deformity. So when you're taking the history of presenting illness, you ask the patient that what happened and since when the problem started. The patient starts to tell you about the whole story of what happened and all the events that occurred that are not significant. You will ask about those events in the past history, not in the history of presenting illness. In history of presenting illness, the important thing is if there is pain, then you have to ask about all these characters of the pain and move forwards. For deformity, SDOPDAT, that is site, duration, onset, progression, disability, adaptability, and treatment. For deformity, these are 7 questions that are important. When the swelling was noted, and who noticed the swelling, or who noticed the deformity, when the deformity was noted, and how is the progression of the deformity, what is the disability by that deformity, and how the patient has adapted uh, with that deformity, and is there any treatment the patient has seeked up till now. For swelling, 4S, 3T, 2C, and E and P. 4S are the site, size, shape, and surface. Then is temperature, tenderness, and transillumination. Color, consistency, and fluctuation. Then the edges and pulsations. This is very simple. For pain, you have Sosiframino. For deformity, SDOPDAT. For swelling, 4S, 3T, 2C, and E and P. So remember these mnemonics so that you write all these on a piece of paper. Before starting your long case, just write these mnemonics on the rough page so that when during your when you have started questioning the patient, you don't miss any point. And even if you miss a point, you have a rough page and a mnemonic in front of you so that you can move on that point. Because if you have missed any important point in the history, the examiner is not going to pass you. So once you have completed the history taking in under 9 minutes, you move on to the examination section. So complete your examination in less than 12 minutes, otherwise you will fail. That is very important. You must complete your examination in under 12 minutes or 12 and a half minutes. That is the maximum time you are going to get in the exam for examination, because a lot of time is wasted. The initial time is wasted in your history taking as well as exposing the patient. It takes 3 or 4 minutes to expose the patient according to your requirement. So it is very important, so that those 3 or 4 minutes are eliminated from your examination. The total 30 minutes are given to you. 12 minutes for history taking, 9 minutes for 9 minutes for history taking and 12 minutes for examination. That makes total 21 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes are wasted during the exposure and moving or setting up the whole your bag or the contents of your bags on the table, and rest 5 minutes are left. That those 5 minutes are for compilation of all the data, because you have to then start narration after the 30 minutes. You have to tell the examiner about the positive findings of the history and the examination. So you have to compile all the data according to what you have to tell the examiner. So 5 minutes for general examination and 7 minutes for specific examination. Actually, in even in the long case, the specific joint examination is just like the examination uh, of the short case that you have done in 4 or 5 minutes. So and plus added a few examinations, because in long case the examiner expects that you have inspected and examined whole of the patient, not just that the joint involved. So some people do the vital signs or general physical examination at the end. Some prefer to just get over it from the start. It's up to you. The examiner won't mind, but never miss. Just make a scheme and follow that scheme. So this is important. I have highlighted it: hand, marker, measuring tape, goniometer, and hammer. I uh, I put these things in this order. Hand is my hands, marker, then put measuring tape with your the couch. You will be given a couch and a table on which you can put your belongings or the bag you bring. So on that table, put the marker, along with that the measuring tape, goniometer, and hammer. First, during the examination, do all the examination that is required with your hand, and then pick up the marker and draw or point all the points that are to be drawn on that limb. So supposedly, if you have doing the lower limb examination or the spine examination, so for Schober test, draw the lines. Then the for Brandt's triangle, draw all the lines. Then how to assess wasting, the joint lines, the limb lengths, all the when you pick the marker, draw all the lines. No line should, or no line or point should be missed. You don't need to pick the marker again. There is time wasted when you keep on picking the marker and drawing again and again. Then pick up the measuring tape and measure whatever is required, what you have drawn with the marker. Then the goniometer, measure all the range of motions, put it back. Then at the last, pick up the hammer and do the reflexes. So don't pick anything again. You need to memorize this mnemonic so that you don't miss anything in the examination. And when you pick up the marker, you should exactly know where the points are and where you want to mark them, so that you don't pick up the marker again, you don't miss anything. So once you are done with your marker, you will know that now I have to move to the measuring tape and then the goniometer and the hammer. Then lastly, compilation. So this is very important. And why I'm telling that this is important is because you don't work on it, and a lot of you are not able to compile. You have taken an excellent history, you have done an excellent examination, but you don't know how to compile that history and examination on a piece of paper and in your mind simultaneously, so that you are able to tell the examiner. The examiner is not going to mind if you look at the piece of paper to tell the specific findings like range of motion or deformity angles or degrees, uh, by looking at the rough paper. But the examiner expects you to look in his or her eye and tell whole of the history and the examination findings. Some examiners want that you only tell the positive findings in the history and the positive findings in the examination. So there is a bit of variation in what the examiners require from you. But generally speaking, you are given adequate time to narrate your history and examination. So once you have compiled and you have all the mnemonics written on the rough page, it would be easier for you to just look at the page and tell the history and the examination findings. So 5 minutes are more than enough for the compilation of findings and yourself. That is very important, because if you don't have a diagnosis after the end of your history and examination, you will be sweating a lot and you will lose the confidence. So never lose confidence. Compile the findings and yourself. That is very important. Then the how to tackle the Viva session. A lot of people ask me specifically about the last 30 minutes in which it is to be decided that either you are going to become a consultant or remain a resident. So how to tackle that session? Always, always answer not more than what is asked. That is very important. Examiner knows more than you. That is very evident. Even if he does not know the exact classification or exact uh, exact measurements. He is more experienced than you are. So always keep your nerves intact. Be very confident. Use maximum eye contact, and start using this eye contact even during by when you go for the long case and start taking history. Keep engaging the examiner with some like, sir, I want complete exposure, can I expose the patient? Sir, in history I want to ask these questions from the parents, is it possible to bring the parent inside so that I can ask? So keep on engaging the examiner. So it's basically called breaking the ice between you and the examiner. Use frequent hand gestures. This is very important. Always keep moving your hands and telling about the findings. Speak loud. There are 4 people in a hall who are giving the exam, and there is a lot of cross contamination of noise. So you are required to be loud, slow, and clear, so that you don't miss any finding that is important. And at the end, examiner is going to say that you haven't done this test or told about this test. So always be loud, slow, and clear. Narrate the positive findings. Suppose less time is left, so then don't keep on telling this is normal, this is normal, this is normal. Just tell the positive findings. Sometimes the examiner asks you to tell the positive findings and skip the normal things. So try to keep narrating till 10 to 12 minutes, emphasizing on positive findings. If you have the second long case, there are 2 long cases in a day, 2 badges, I mean. So if you are in the second session, some examiners become tired, and after doing your history and examination, they just say that better just tell the positive findings. Even if they say tell the positive findings, keep on adding the positive findings and negating the negative findings, so that you buy maximum time of that last 30 minutes. 30 minutes are enough to ask a candidate about any disease and to know how much the candidate knows. So keep buying time from that 30 minutes, and you can buy time by prolonging your history and examination findings. And the last 15 minutes of viva. So last 15 minutes, the examiner is going to ask you a lot of questions, because he or she is going to decide either you are confident enough to be made consultant or not. So they are going to ask you about the recent advances, latest techniques, everything. So give one treatment option and then stick to that option. You should be able to defend it with all you have got. Uh, and this is only possible if you have done a lot of practice of long cases vivas. A lot of you do a lot of practice by taking history and examination in the required time, but you don't cross question yourself. Three of you make a group of 3 colleagues and sit and cross question each other until you are confident enough that you are able to defend the treatment option that you have given, because the examiner will try to sway you from your treatment option. That is the job of the examiner. In orthopedics, you don't every problem have more than one correct treatment options. You all know about that. So the examiner is going to ask you, doctor, why not this option? Why not this option? Why not this option? So you should be able to defend your treatment option and tell the positive points of that treatment option and negative points of whatever the examiner is asking. Never back down unless you have given some very wrong answer. That option is not correct. Then obviously you have to change your treatment. Otherwise, never back down. Devise a treatment. Take your time, devise a treatment, and then stick to that treatment. All are okay if you can defend your diagnosis. Basically, if you have taken a complete history, not missed any point in the history, and done a complete examination, that is enough for you to pass the long case. The problem starts when you have missed something in your viva, in your examination or history. The examiner is then going to ask you repeatedly about that finding. So try not to miss anything in your history and examination. Uh, once, because treatment is very simple and straightforward. You all know a lot of surgeries, you have done a lot of surgeries, so it's easy to defend practically when you are telling about the steps of the surgeries. But if you have missed anything in the history and examination, examiner is going to punish you about that. So take home messages: time management is the key. If you will fail to manage time, you are going to fail. So always emphasize on time management. Attitude: you should be confident, body language should be very good and positive. Complete your examination and reach a diagnosis. And reaching a diagnosis is the ultimate game that will help you pass. Uh, so I think there is a voice problem. So anyways, this is the last slide, just telling you reaching a diagnosis is the ultimate game that will help you to pass. If you are unable to reach a diagnosis, obviously you won't be able to tell or devise a treatment plan. And that is where problem arises. So reach a diagnosis, always keep on asking the patient again and again until you reach a diagnosis and you're confident that is the correct diagnosis, then move forward. So thank you for listening. Now we'll just move to a non-recorded session and have some uh, mock long case discussion, and I'll answer the queries if you have any. So we'll thank you very much for listening. Allah Hafiz.